Life doesn't change all at once. There isn't a clear moment where everything breaks or falls apart. Most of the time, nothing dramatic happens at all. Life just starts to feel different. Not worse, not better. Just different in a way that's hard to explain. At some point, you wake up one day and realize that the excitement you used to feel about the future isn't as loud anymore. It hasn't disappeared. It hasn't died. It's just quieter now, softer, almost like background noise instead of the main melody. And the strange part is, nothing specific caused it. There was no single failure, no major loss, no clear mistake that explains why things feel this way. This is usually the moment people get confused, because from the outside, life might actually look fine. You're functioning, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're handling responsibilities, meeting expectations, and moving forward in ways that make sense on paper. But internally, something has shifted. The way you experience time feels different. The way you relate to days, weeks, and even years quietly changes. This phase doesn't come with an announcement. No one warns you about it. There isn't a name for it that people commonly use. It's not childhood ending, it's not adulthood beginning, and it's not a midlife crisis either. It sits somewhere in between. Before this age, life often feels like it's moving towards something. There's a sense of buildup. Even uncertainty feels exciting because it carries possibility. You imagine futures easily. You picture versions of yourself without much effort. There's a natural pull toward what comes next. After this age, that pull softens. You still plan, you still think ahead, but the future doesn't feel as vivid. It doesn't feel like a wide open space anymore. It feels narrower, more realistic, more grounded. And sometimes that realism quietly removes the emotional charge that used to come with dreaming. This isn't because you failed. It isn't because you stopped trying. And it isn't because you did something wrong. It's because your relationship with life matured in a way no one talks about. At this stage, novelty doesn't hit the same way. New experiences still happen, but they don't automatically bring excitement. They need context now, meaning, alignment. Without that, even good things can feel neutral. You might achieve something you once wanted badly, only to notice that the feeling fades faster than you expected. That moment can feel unsettling, not because the achievement was empty, but because the emotional response didn't match the effort it took to get there. And when that happens a few times, you start questioning yourself. You wonder if something is missing, if you're broken, if you somehow lost your ability to feel deeply. But this phase isn't about losing feeling. It's about feeling differently. Earlier in life, emotions tend to be sharper. Highs feel high, lows feel heavy. Everything has an edge to it. As life progresses, those edges smooth out. Emotional experiences become flatter, more even. This doesn't mean life is less meaningful. It means your nervous system isn't reacting to everything the way it once did. Calm replaces intensity. Familiarity replaces urgency. And for many people, that shift feels like something was taken away. This is often the age where time starts behaving differently too. Days move quickly, but years feel shorter than they should. You can remember moments from long ago with clarity, yet last month feels blurry. Routines take over without much resistance. Weeks begin to resemble each other, not because life is empty, but because it's structured. Structure is useful. Structure is stabilizing. But structure can also quiet curiosity. You stop checking in with yourself as often. Not intentionally, it just happens. You already know what most days will look like, so there's less reason to ask how you feel about them. Over time, that lack of reflection creates distance, not from life, but from how you experience it. This is the age where people often say, "I don't know why I feel this way." And the truth is, nothing obvious is wrong. This phase doesn't come with visible problems. It comes with subtle ones. A sense that life has settled into something permanent. A feeling that options have narrowed, even if opportunities still exist. a quiet awareness that time feels more valuable now, but also harder to use well. Before this age, wasting time feels harmless. After it, wasted time feels heavier. Not because you're running out of time in a dramatic sense, but because you've started to understand how quickly it moves. You're no longer guessing. You've seen it happen. This awareness changes how you engage with things. You become more selective, even when you don't mean to. Energy isn't unlimited anymore, so it gets distributed differently. Some interests fall away naturally. Some relationships change shape. Some ambitions become quieter, not because they weren't real, but because they evolved. From the outside, this can look like losing passion. From the inside, it feels more like refinement, like something is slowly being edited out of your life. And without context, that can feel like loss. This is also the age where comparison shifts. Earlier, comparison is about progress, who's ahead, who's behind, who's doing better. Later, comparison becomes more internal. You compare yourself to who you thought you'd be by now. And that comparison is harder because it isn't fair or clear. There was never a fixed version you were supposed to become, but earlier in life, it feels like there was. When that illusion fades, it can leave a quiet emptiness. Not sadness, not regret, just the absence of a clear narrative. Life stops feeling like a story with chapters and starts feeling like a continuous present. This is where many people misinterpret what's happening. They assume something needs to be fixed. They assume they need motivation. They assume they need a new goal. But this phase isn't asking for more. It's asking for awareness, not in a dramatic sense, not self-improvement or reinvention, just noticing. Noticing that life feels different now because you changed, your expectations changed, your emotional responses changed, your relationship with time changed. And none of that means something is wrong. This phase often comes quietly, during stable periods, when life is fine. That's why it's confusing. There's nothing to point to, no clear reason, just a shift in texture. Life feels flatter in some ways, deeper in others, less exciting, but more grounded. You may find yourself enjoying silence more, needing fewer words, wanting less stimulation. These aren't signs of disengagement, they're signs of recalibration. Earlier, life pulls you outward. Later, it pulls you inward. Not in a dramatic sense or spiritual sense, just in a practical sense. You become more aware of what drains you and what doesn't. You start noticing how environments affect you, how certain conversations leave you tired, how some routines feel heavy, while others feel neutral. This awareness doesn't come with clear answers. It comes with subtle signals. And the challenge is that society doesn't talk about this stage. There's language for beginnings, there's language for crises, but there's very little language for this quiet middle space where life is neither falling apart nor moving forward in obvious ways. So people assume they're alone in it. They assume everyone else feels motivated, driven, and clear. But most people are just moving through this phase silently, without naming it, without understanding it, without realizing it's a shared experience. This is why life feels different after this age. Not because it lost meaning, not because you lost direction, but because the way meaning shows up has changed. Meaning becomes quieter, less dramatic, less obvious. It shows up in small consistencies instead of big moments, in stability instead of excitement, in understanding instead of anticipation. That shift doesn't feel rewarding at first. It feels anticlimactic, like you missed something, like there was supposed to be more. But this phase isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of a different way of being in your life, one that doesn't rely on intensity to feel real, one that doesn't need constant movement to feel alive. And that realization doesn't arrive as a breakthrough. It arrives slowly, almost unnoticed. Life feels different after this age because you're no longer waiting for it to begin. You're already inside it. And understanding that doesn't solve anything immediately. It just changes how you sit with what you're experiencing. That by itself is often enough.